And we're back.
Cool.
Okay. So, in the time remaining to you, in the rest of the day, you find somewhere to settle down, have something to eat, wander around the university. Elizabeth, you tidy up some odds and ends with the orrery, making sure that everything is in its place and ready for future experiments. You have your conversation with the professors. They seem... They're a little concerned about the speed of your willingness to welcome Mandatus back without any sort of suspicion, but they acknowledge that it's your project and they will consider it.
I mean, I am suspicious. I just don't want him to lose out because he got blackmailed.
Yeah.
If you're still suspicious, is this really the project you want to risk it on? Like,
I mean, I guess I'm not that suspicious. I'm a little
yeah,
bit suspicious.
I was gonna say.
Not that suspicious. Yeah. I mean, I'll still keep a closer eye on him than I would any of the other students in the room. But also, like, yeah, changes I'm making to that. All three of us are going to be in when the students are, if possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna look up some magical ways to protect the room better, and the arcane lock is going to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely spend your afternoon doing that.
Yeah.
But
I might ask our not wanting to be abjuration lady anymore, abjuration lady.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure she knows a trick or two.
Yeah. Like if she's willing to help, then yeah. Stuff to ward up and keep an eye on the room.
Yeah, she's probably like willing to help to a degree, particularly if you involve the other professors.
Yeah. And hey, the abjuration department having a hand in the project might help with the finally getting them to appoint someone properly.
Possibly. But yeah, eventually, sort of like the evening rolls around, and unless anybody has anything you want to do, you look to retire for the evening. Where do you want to stay?
Guess you might as well stay where we were before.
Yeah.
Okay, so heading back to the inn. Okay.
The professors can grab me if stuff goes really wrong in the night.
Yeah. So I think it was 2 gold per night for the stay in that inn.
Like the fancy one? I can't remember.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I
think it was 2 gold for the 4 of you.
Yeah,
I'll
5 silver each.
Yep.
But also, I might alarm the room before I leave.
Oh, the lab.
Yeah.
Isn't there a range?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a
the
range on that.
Yeah, is the inn within a mile?
Possibly not.
Yeah, I won't then.
Okay. So yeah, you all get settled in for the evening in the tavern, and just as you are all making your way to your rooms to go to sleep, there is a knock at your respective bedroom doors. And a steward of the inn is basically like standing in the hallway, like getting your attention. Says, "Forgive me, but there are important people here to see you."
Important. I take it they're downstairs.
Yes.
We'll be down in a second.
Okay. Yeah, you gather your things together.
I mean, yeah. I'm not going to go down in pajamas.
This happens to the rest of you as well. I presume you are also joining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump out the window.
Quick, run away!
See ya!
Get down!
In the distance, there is like the faint, like shattering sound for the room across as Grim leaps through the window.
We're like, what the fuck?
Grim?
Sure, that was nothing.
I just assumed that someone had broken into Grim's room.
I
No.
discovered I'm a double agent. No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Wow,
I presume the four of you head downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, just a fucking no top.
Bye.
You
Yeah,
you head
yeah,
downstairs.
whatever.
You head downstairs to the main like hallway or like lobby of the tavern, to find 4 Stormguard in full regalia waiting for you.
Okay. This is fine.
You asked for us.
The lead, the soldier at the lead, steps forward, nods, and says, "Your presence is requested."
By who and where?
Exarch Iphelkiir.
Oh.
Oh, oh dear.
I see.
Is everything all right?
We'll leave that for him to determine.
Lead the
Hmm.
way, I
Um,
guess.
Yeah, we're not dressed up the fanciest, but it will do.
They make no comment on the state of your dress. And yeah, they lead you across to the central government spire, which you have been in, I think, at least once before.
I don't know if Elizabeth has.
Oh yes, Elizabeth possibly has not. The rest of you have, I believe. Where you are led through into the audience chambers in the rear of the building once again. Where in one of the smaller back meeting rooms, you are led to the door. The Stormguard raps on the door. Another Stormguard opens it from inside. You are requested to enter, and standing in front of the small fireplace in a long jet black sort of like evening gown, is Exarch Iphelkiir, father to Elenia and Elaran. The Stormguards step outside, and Exarch Iphelkiir turns to the 4 of you and says, "Amber Eagle, forgive the late hour of this summons, but after recent events, this could not wait."
I assume this is to do with the events of the day, Exarch?
Along with the other Exarchs, I received a briefing from members of Academy staff and ranking officials within the City Guard, Wild Hunt, and other government organizations about your recent encounter. Yes.
I assume that is you're referring to the drow counter.
He nods. Current tensions mean that news of foreign agents operating within the city, allegedly targeting your own personal endeavours, has landed somewhat poorly within the council.
I suppose I can see why.
I am already receiving pressure to publicly disavow your organisation and its operations in the academy.
Why?
Oh, calm down.
Do you say that aloud?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? I mean, we stopped the drow.
He sort of like he fixes you with a look and sort of says, "Whilst I understand your frustrations, I understand that this comes at a particularly difficult time politically. It is nothing personal.
No.
That said, calls are being made to place restrictions on your work. However, unlike my fellow exarchs, I have not forgotten the reason you first came to our attentions. I have been keeping a close watch on your organisation since you returned from the Shadowfell, and whilst I have not directly advocated for the operations of your group, I have advised against certain measures in the past that would have been taken to suppress the growth of your company had they passed council debate. The reason why I'm telling you all of this is because, from all of the observations I have had Elenia and my advisors gather about your little group, I do believe you have good intentions. Even if your execution can sometimes leave a little to be desired. I believe, in this situation as in others, you did not believe to intend to cause people harm, even where your actions did directly result in risk being applied to the elven citizenry. He sort of looks to you for confirmation that his assertion is correct.
I assume that the risk would be the one wizard or spellcaster that was fleeing.
There have been a number of reported public disturbances involving your company. You did also break into a house.
We okay, we didn't break into the door. Technically, we didn't break it.
Only entering, no breaking.
Yeah, we didn't break anything.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth would just say, yes, I can see why it would be causing trouble.
Well, admittedly, the reason why this is a little, well, I understand that you're the one that is fighting on our behalf. But the problem here is that essentially what the others are saying that is because people are decided to terrorize a project that we are funding for the most part, that you should seize the project because of terrorism. Essentially, you should give in to the cultists.
Mm-hmm.
The Exarch nods to this and sort of says, as I said, this has landed at a somewhat poor time politically. There are certain individuals to whom this is favourable, rather than to be seen to be supporting outside elements.
I guess that little rebel organization has gained some traction within. Well, before I try to think of anything too odd, is Elizabeth, if I'm not mistaken, essentially, you're almost ready. All you need is more power, or you need to dump enough magic into the device, and then we can find the bad guy.
In theory.
The Exarch holds up his hand and says, rest assured, I have no intention of placing pressure on you or your organisation, either politically or otherwise. At least not at the moment.
No, however, if I, for example, learned that, if we could do this within the next 2 weeks, then we would, of course, we would be disappointed if you were to throw us out, to say. However, if successful, then we could perhaps make it easier on you by not having as much of a foothold here, or well, I say foothold. It's not the right word.
Presence.
Presence.
But
Yeah.
then their presence would be massively diminished, and the risk would be greatly reduced as well because the cultists wouldn't have they wouldn't have a target anymore, or at least not in the college. But I guess there is more than what the to this, and then yes.
Yeah, the Exarch nods and says, I understand that your intention is well placed, and I will continue to push the council towards a more reasoned decision. However, I do not always have the final say in what the council decides. So instead, let me give you a piece of advice. You currently walk a very fine line. Though not all of it may be your own faults, recent events and certain rumours have made your company a target of great interest and risk for the Elven leadership. As I said, I continue to steer my fellow Exarchs in the direction I feel is best for my people, and I feel this must be enforced. Do not misunderstand, my allegiance is first and foremost to the Elven people and their security. Should you prove yourselves to be a threat to that now or in the future, I will not hesitate to impose upon you with the full extent of my power, but I do not believe that this is the moment. If I may make a suggestion outside of my capacity as Exarch, perhaps a short vacation from the immediate spotlight here in Argen'tel'lyrind would not go amiss.
Well, we were planning on leaving tomorrow morning, but well, I say we were planning on leaving Elizabeth behind to actually finally complete what we came here to do.
He sort of nods and says, I have no official say in what you choose to do from this point onwards. The council will be debating the fallout of what has happened for at least another few weeks. My suggestion is merely that the further you find yourselves from the capital seat, the less likely they are to scrutinize you and your actions.
Yeah, and I guess they would feel less pressured to take action.
Would that
I
include
have
myself then, Exarch?
I have some ideas. Well, it doesn't. We don't necessarily need you to not exist in the Elven capital anymore, as long as you keep your head low.
Yeah, Ivelios turns to you, Elizabeth, and says, this advice is not delivered in my capacity as Exarch. The Exarch officially has no standing here in these dealings. This is merely as someone with a personal interest in your undertakings.
So, if I understand correctly, basically what you're trying, you've summoned us here as a way to give us a warning as to events that might unfold.
I'm merely letting you know the current opinion of the council, myself accepted.
Well,
I think we can.
I personally thank you both for this and for your efforts in, well, before this event happened. Though, if I may ask, you mentioned they were discussing forms of restrictions. Have they gone into details?
None specific as of yet.
But I don't think. I think we can. I think we can make sure that is not going to be an issue. anytime soon. Because when I suggest Elizabeth,
Mm.
well, don't like it. Like I have a plan that like people won't worry about it. Sounds a bit ominous, I guess, but it basically boils down to that you're basically gonna live with your project.
Well, even before this incident, I very rarely left the college grounds. I don't plan to change that.
Yes.
In fact, I think I only left the Moon District once, maybe twice.
Well, that's what that's what it's going to boil down to.
I can do that.
And then, well, I guess you're not the person to tell, or you can't. Not that you can do anything with this information. I was gonna say we did because you're aware of the cultists that were found. Between that incident and now, we did learn that there are more of them. However, it sounded like they were mostly out in the woods. We were unable to tell how many were actually in here. So I am gonna say I am worried there might be another attack on the college. This time it was relatively subtle.
The Exarch nods and says, "We are aware of a number of potential ongoing risks. The Stormguard are in position to deal with that, and the Wild Hunt will lend support where they can."
Well, let's hope they hope that's enough. But I guess, unless the others have something to say, I think we shouldn't waste too much more of your time.
He turns back to look at the fire for a few moments, just looks back and says, "Indeed. You have ruffled a great number of important feathers, Amber Eagle. Some for the positive, others not so. Be cautious with your dealings moving forward. And I don't just mean in relation to this project."
Yeah, we are aware. We have. I'd be lying if there weren't more people that were considering, or we're doubtful whether to consider us friend or foe for the same reason, or well.
Sorry, say that again. You broke up.
Oh, okay. Said no. I understand. You are not the only one that are are unsure whether or not we are a force of good or evil. I guess, as harsh as that sounds to someone like myself, but it is the reality.
People fear power. It is merely a consequence of the ability to enforce authority. I will not pontificate on the various values of leadership, but be careful who you call allies. Having friends is good, but friends who make other allies uncomfortable can often cause larger rifts.
LOL.
As if Arya didn't have enough to worry about yet.
Guess what? We just caused even more racial tension against Drow.
Oh yeah, but I was also, not
Yay.
only that, I was also thinking about a little half drow boy.
Oh,
A
Oh
boy.
God.
yeah, our half Drow boy. No.
Such a
Yeah.
good boy. A little Orden, right?
Yes,
Or
Orden.
correctly. I can't believe I remember the name. That's how
God.
important he is.
Fucking gold
So
star for
important.
Mini on that one.
Orden, my boy.
Well, we're even though it might be hard to keep everybody friends in that way. The best we can only make an attempt, and all I can say is, well, we are not ones to turn away an ally if we trust in them at least. But I get where you're coming from. Hopefully we'll result. Hopefully that won't be an issue for too much. Well, when I say too much longer, it's probably going to take centuries, but we're gonna work towards a better place. Even if
We're gonna end racism.
yeah, but like there's some things that like I don't even think solving racism will help. Like what are you gonna do against a bloodthirsty demon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kick racism out of fantasy world.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Exarch gives you a look that he is quite clearly scrutinizing you to see whether you have missed his point entirely or whether you are just rambling.
Yep.
I'm just realizing, but trying to like what's it called?
Yeah.
Tell him why that might why it's not really something we can do. Well, we'll do.
Yeah.
We could easily just ditch all our drow allies, but
Yes.
Eh.
I don't think easily we could ditch all of our.
like
For a-
Arya would
Grim
still be
could,
seeing a
Arya
certain
not so
someone in
much.
private.
no, but like well, like officially we
Yes.
could.
True.
For a man whose entire life is weighted on very carefully considered words, who does not say anything without extensive consideration, Exarch Iphelkiir is somewhat bewildered by the way that you think things and they come out of your mouth.
Honestly,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Look,
I
that
think
makes
we
sense.
all are sometimes, to be fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
Yeah.
like we're all talking about power. That's true power. Just the ability to say whatever and not have to worry about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Quite a powerful.
True power is the ability to freely talk about your power.
Okay, but we don't talk about our power.
Yeah.
No.
The
We merely hint at it.
Grim's true superpower is speaking truth to power.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I guess if we're making moves to leave, then Elizabeth would probably bow and just say, "Thank you, Exarch, for this."
He inclines his head politely.
And I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is best kept under wraps. This conversation.
The Exarch just sort of nods and says, "The warning was given in official capacity, but I trust your judgment."
I doubt any good would come from revealing this anyway.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much. And I guess, good luck to you for when you need it.
He nods, and the four of you depart. You are escorted to the main lobby and then just sort of left there.
Okay. Go back to our inn, I guess.
Well, we ain't getting home if you don't get a good night's sleep, so
Yeah, I need 8 hours sleep for you guys to even get home.
Yeah, it's probably like 11 at night by this point.
Oh, that's probably normal bedtime anyway. It's not that big a deal.
Well, you've got to walk across town for an hour first, but
Yeah, but it's fine.
Goddamn
It wouldn't-
elves not needing to sleep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
it wouldn't be Elizabeth's first time going to bed at midnight. It won't be the last, and it's probably not even the latest she's ever stayed up.
Also, I think it's just inefficient of you all to sleep for 8 hours.
That's That's valid.
How do you
Yeah,
get anything done?
That's like half the day.
Such short lifespans, and you spend most of it sleeping.
I mean, just look at cats. They spend even more time sleeping. I say, looking to my right, where there is currently a cat asleep on a beanbag,
Mhm.
and she's been there pretty much all day.
Yep.
But yeah, you meander your way back to the inn
Mm.
in stony silence.
We all just got told off.
no, we
We
didn't get
got a little
told off.
pissed. They told us off, but
I mean, that was more of an invitation for you to maybe talk about the things that you've just been told, but sure.
it's just annoying. I'm just annoyed. We just keep getting told off for doing the right thing.
Okay.
Is Arya visibly annoyed?
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a strong reaction for like only when Arya feels strongly about anything you
True.
get like
Yeah.
the what
Yeah.
or
I mean,
the
yeah,
hatred.
you did kind of backchat an Exarch, so
You know what? The Exarch go suck it because honestly, we saved the city.
I guess.
And
I
what
guess.
thanks do we get?
I guess Elizabeth
we
would like to sort of like walk alongside Arya for a bit and just sort of say, I honestly get where you're coming from, you know? I know it's really stupid that we have to jump through all these hoops, but unfortunately that's... Well, actually, no, fortunately, that is the life we've chosen.
I mean, the issue here is that they're potentially getting in the way of us doing something that will help everybody.
Exactly.
But we don't really have a lot of options to make them understand that.
Which is...
No. It's not until the Lich is on their doorstep that they will that they'll agree to assist. Well, I guess there are a few exceptions, of course.
Well, think about it. People like us wouldn't be regarded as heroes and saviors if what we did was a simple, mundane thing that any government official could do.
Yeah, but like the problem is not that that the things that we're doing aren't mundane. The problem is that we're trying to do extraordinary things and being stopped from doing so.
Grim raises a very good point historically, because historically the elves don't care about things until it is right on their doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth would probably understand that. But yeah, she just says, like, yeah, I know. And yes, history very much does repeat itself if you look at incidents like this. But unfortunately, there's... As we saw with the captain, if we even try and explain this to people, you have to admit it's very, very difficult to believe.
Well, we gave it in stages to the captain, and she had some background. And there are better ways of phrasing it than the way we told the captain, because it was kind of like an oh yeah, and also this unbelievable thing on top of the rest.
True.
Also, at the end of the world, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
You know, just your average
Blah, blah,
Sunday.
yeah. It's difficult for people who don't do what we do to understand what we do. Hearing
I mean, you
about
could
these
say
kind
that
of
about
things for
pretty
the
much
first time.
anything.
Exactly, which is why we have to give them at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt on this kind of thing. Let them take things cautiously.
I mean, the thing is, their caution could end up costing a lot of people pretty much their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe that's a bit dramatic, but it's still true.
No, it's absolutely true. I completely agree with you.
overall, like they're not trying to. The things they're trying to stop us from doing are not things that they have outlawed necessarily, nor problems that they would be able to solve on their own. Or if they would, it would probably lead to more problems.
Well, that was my attempt to be comforting. I don't think it worked.
No. It's just frustrating.
I get it, honestly, I do.
But that said, once you finally pump enough magic into that thing, we don't have to worry about it for quite some time.
You do have a way of making things sound so simple.
Am I wrong?
On a fundamental level, no.
There you go.
So I'm right.
Grim is technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Thank you for that Futurama reference.
Yeah. You part ways, settle down to sleep for the night, and take a long rest. Yeah. As the day dawns, you all awake to a relatively peaceful city.
That's good. That's a good sign. I guess we're doing the usual routine of having breakfast and then I'll teleport you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Before you go, like I know you said you stayed on campus and all that, but when I said live with the machine, I meant that in a slightly more literal sense.
Sleeping in the lab.
Yeah.
I guess
Plus, it would keep the machine safer,
I guess I
and
could
because
do that.
we cannot afford more setbacks.
Alright. Then I'll do that.
Like I'm sure they'll understand.
Hopefully. It would be a lot easier to do if I was an elf, but oh well.
Well, we can always try it, I guess. Meditating hasn't really been my thing.
I've tried meditation, but meditation doesn't, give me a full night's sleep. there's not really anything I can do about that.
Oh well. But that said, I think the plan is somewhat clear.
Keep our heads down in the Elven society.
You teleport us back. Come back here. We'll give you some nicer. We'll give you like a nicer pillow or something.
A nicer pillow.
Well, like like it's not like you have to drag the thing around the entire time. So
I can
might
just
as well
sleep on a
get
chair.
something like that.
I mean, I have my bedroll. I'll be all right.
And
Do you want me to come straight back? Well, I suppose I
well,
probably should at least spend today with the college.
well, we like the idea is that you're going to stay here as much as possible. Just charging that device with all you've got.
So I guess I'll pop back to the keep less often than I did before.
Like honestly, just I don't think you want to be popping back to the keep at all. Even if it was, even if it is useful sometimes, if it can be avoided, just any magic just goes in there. If it saves us a day, it's worth it, pretty much.
All right. Well, I'll be up here if you need me.
But I guess I do trust you to decide when there is a special situation that requires. Well, you'll know when it occurs.
Basically, call back in case of emergencies.
Plus, that way you don't have to make use of their secret summoning, not summoning circle,
Teleportation circle.
teleportation circle, because I feel like we have been maybe been a bit generous in the private use in that regard.
I suppose.
It's not going to be the nicest of days, but you'll get through it.
For you guys. Of course I will. Just
Yes.
Actually, it'll be all right. I'll have a few quick words with people before I teleport back here.
Oh yeah, I guess. Well, you only have so much magic you can throw into it anyway.
I will teleport straight back. Well, I'll teleport back within an hour or two.
I guess the timing is not the most important thing, as long as you get the rest of that magic in there.
I usually had the mornings alone with the machine with the orrery anyway, so
Might want to bring some good books. That's all I'm gonna say.
I will.
That said, I don't know why we're discussing this here because we're going to be together for quite some time still. But yeah, unless you guys have a better idea. None of you can actually put magic in there, right?
They are not the right kind of caster now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna find more casters just to dump magic in there.
I mean, the only casters I can think of who might be able to help are part of your elite group, and I think you want them on standby at all times.
I don't even think they're the correct type of caster.
One of them's a wizard.
Yes.
There is one. Yeah.
I've forgotten her name.
Is it?
Riella. Riella is a wizard.
That was Riella. Oh, there it is. Mossborn. Riella.
Yes. And I suppose technically Kada has some minor arcane magic, but yeah, not very much of it.
So-
Not enough of it to be noteworthy.
And I guess
So
Sedani?
so do the students.
Oh, Sedani does as well. Yes, of course, because Sedani is a what's it called?
Oh,
Eldritch Knight.
I think. I don't think sending her over is going to be helpful.
Not really. The amount of power that she can put into it is very small.
Well. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, 4 of you join hands and teleport back.
Shoop.
And yeah, you arrive back at the keep.
Woohoo, new keep.
Woo, new key.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so
Key.
as you arrive, the keep is the usual morning bustle of activity. People are making their way to and from training. The main hall is sort of like slowly emptying of people who have come from eating breakfast. And yeah, you are free to do as you please. What does everyone want to do?
I think Elizabeth's gonna go find. Probably go first.
Okay.
To have a chat. Basically, to explain that she's going to be up in the capital on a more permanent basis and probably won't be coming back for. Well, she doesn't actually know how long. How long it takes to get this done.
Also, chess girl.
Well, yeah, Elizabeth.
Yes, girl.
Elizabeth doesn't know how to find her outside of, the evenings, and it's very much not the evening. So she just, she was going to tell Sedani the same thing as well, and ask Sedani to pass it on next time she saw her.
Say hi to chess girl for me.
God.
Anyway,
Basically.
yeah, okay. So you're heading off to find them. Does anyone else want to talk to anybody while they're here, or speak to anyone in particular? I should say.
Arya needs to make friends in this organization.
You do.
There's just more and more people, and you're just less and less. Like,
Alright, let's go spar with the trainees.
Let's do it.
I need a friend whose ass can I kick.
I mean,
mean-
the thing is that Kelariis spends a lot of free time with the trainees, or just in general sparring with people, because
Yeah.
that's good for everybody involved, and just sees Arya looking lost, is you're coming with me.
Arya's usual pastime is waiting for everyone else to evacuate the archery range so that she can have a go.
I was gonna say it's just disappear into a room and write a letter, but
Oh yeah, that too.
Well,
Yeah, but you can only write so many letters.
And
That's-
pet dog. Don't forget pet dog.
I was going to say, it's usually that Arya hangs around the archery range, and then the people who are in the archery range notice that there is an elf and a wolf just hanging around the archery range, and slowly but surely they decide that maybe there's somewhere else important that they could be.
Surely people are used to Lyra at this point. I mean, we haven't spent a huge amount of time at the base, I guess.
She's still fucking scary though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're running away, it's just that you are generally kind of intimidating to be around, and
Then
you're
why did I roll better on my intimidation rolls?
Look, you've got passive intimidation, but when you
Yeah.
open your mouth,
Yeah.
it all falls apart.
Because being intimidated by somebody who is your senior in an organization who is partially responsible for paying your wages is very different to a combat situation.
Yeah.
Still makes me sad.
Get better charisma then,
Yeah, God.
or get yourself a proficiency.
Or a boyfriend who knows how to talk to people.
Well.
Or a boyfriend that knows how to talk to people.
Oh wait, you have that.
I have that. He's
But
just
like
not
now you
here.
need one.
The problem.
I guess you
now
need a
I've got,
second
now I've got the
boyfriend.
excellent mental image of Arya not actually not actually talking to anyone and like Jaldrin do all the talking, so that she's just standing there, the big intimidating girlfriend, and then like Jaldrin walks over and does all of the human interaction.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I imagine their dynamic would be if they ever.
Yeah,
had to-
like they go shopping and he pays for everything. Not necessarily he pays for everything, but you know he deals with the cashier person or the salesperson or whatever.
He's
Like
the
they
social
go to a restaurant and he orders everything. That kind of shit.
Anyway,
Fine.
so Kelariis and Arya are going to the sparring area. Grim, what are you up to? Is there anyone you want to talk to, or are you just sort
I
of...
guess there's like I'd say hi to people, but like I don't think there's anybody in. Well, I guess I should. What did I tell the others? Like, what did I tell the? I should check in with Lars. I guess I don't even know where he is right now. If I told him to do anything, I forgot.
Yeah, you can go find him. He's not currently on assignment, or at least he wasn't when you left.
Okay. Oh, I should probably check in with Vondal first if there's any potential assignments.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go straight to business.
Let's get down to business.
No.
To defeat
So
The Huns.
the Red Legion.
Kelariis and Arya, you approach the sparring arena. There are a few recruits just sort of hanging around, like picking up weapons or like doing like classic drills. However, as you approach the pit, there is like there are clearly two people sparring, and they are very obviously going at it quite hard. And as you walk into like vision of the pit, you basically watch as a huge plume of sand is kicked up as Auden is thrown bodily across the arena into the sand pit by none other than Kaziara.
Oh, they're fighting out their problems again.
No. Kaziara is the gift lady.
Oh right. Hell yeah.
I guess I lean over to Arya like, should we be concerned or?
I have no idea.
You watch as Kaziara approaches, like reaches down and just with like one arm just pulls Auden to his feet, like claps him on the shoulder, like dusts him off a bit and says, "Again?" And he sort of like rolls his shoulders and like, "Yeah, I think I've got it this time."
Oh,
Yes.
they're making friends.
I'm so proud.
There you go, Arya. That's the one for you to be friends with. Gift lady.
The drow. Half drow.
Well, yeah, him
Both.
as well, maybe.
All.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh, you know,
As you continue to observe this, Kaziara walks backwards a couple of paces, like turns, adopts like a half squat, like faces Auden. Auden like proceeds to like do like a number of short stretches, sprints towards Kaziara, leaps into the air, and is promptly slapped back into the sand.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What?
What is he trying to do?
Whatever it is, it looks very painful.
He's going for it though. I fucking admire it. I respect it.
Yeah.
You
Like
go, dude.
he is full on being like bodied out of the air into the dust.
Damn.
Do you intercede or do you just watch this happen?
I mean, it's kind of entertaining, I imagine.
Yeah, like he doesn't seem to be being like injured, I assume.
If he is, he's doing a
Well.
very good job of hiding it.
Yeah, he's probably fine. I'm kind of curious what's going on, but I think I'll watch for a bit, unless Arya wants to step
Yeah,
in.
no, I'll watch until they like take a break or something. And I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm interested.
This probably repeats a couple more times. It appears that Auden is basically being taught to try and break like Kaziara's defensive stance by assaulting her from the air, and he is currently having difficulty with that.
Oh no.
So he gets bodied a couple more times. He's getting closer. Before like Kaziara sort of like sees the two of you like looking on and just sort of says, "I think we'll take a break there." Again, she sort of like hefts Auden to his feet. Auden like dusts himself down, like sees the two of you, like stands like slightly more to attention. Kaziara sort of wanders over and says, so you've returned then?"
Just came back, yes.
"I was hoping to have a word with the commander yesterday, but he was unavailable."
He should be around now. I don't know exactly where he is, but we're
Then
all back for the moment.
I will endeavour to locate him. Thank you.
Of course. I didn't realize that you had taken up to training, and I just kind of like gesture between the two of them.
She like sort of smiles a little and says, "Yes, that was a suggestion that your commander gave, that I might better get to know some people around here, and that some of them might be interested in the disciplines I have learned. Auden has proved to be skilled in martial forms, although his are a little more mundane than I'm used to."
Wow. Fucking roasted.
Well,
I mean, no, because she does.
she literally fights with fucking telekinesis. So
I know, but
It's very funny.
roasted.
yeah. This Auden
That hard.
like dusts himself off again and like is sort of quite clearly like working out the stiff muscles that he's got. And he sort of he nods and says, "Kaziara is certainly skilled in a number of disciplines that I have never experienced, and I have learned a number of important values."
I mean, I at least think it's good to learn as much as you can in any disciplines you're able to, so the more variety you have, the better.
Kaziara like sort of like cocks her head at that and sort of says, "I've seen you fight with a sword, but do you do much hand-to-hand sparring?"
I mean, have you seen those arms?
Arya!
Oh, he just leans in like, "Hey, have you seen these?"
those arms, though? But have you seen them?
I love how Arya basically seems to love nothing except for, well, no one except for Jaldrim, Lyra, and Kelariis' arms.
Only my arms, though.
Only
Nothing
your
else.
arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Arya's like the weirdest hype person,
Yeah.
like hype friend, where they're just like always hyping up one specific thing about their friend.
Yep.
Yeah, those arms though.
Those arms, they're real good.
She could they could crush you in an instant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Kelariis kind of just like, I just like tilt my head and just kind of, well, I don't typically fight just hand to hand, but it's part of our training when I was in the army. It's been a while, but I just kind of like shrug. I don't think I've lost everything that I learned.
She like sort of nods at that and smiles and says, perhaps we can spar one time before I leave.
Of course. I'd be happy to.
I think like she seems like fairly happy with that, like sort of nods and smiles and says, well, you were waiting and I need to go and get cleaned up.
Yeah, we won't keep you. We came mostly to spar or observe if others were doing something.
I think of that, like she smiles, like does like a short bow and says, well, I hope we were entertaining.
I just give a very toothy grin.
Yeah, I think Auden just sort of like he looks like a little awkward, like scratches the back of his head and is like, yeah, okay, I didn't realize I was being observed quite so intensely. But yeah, the two of them depart. The recruits who are sort of like doing like basic weapon drills, sort of like start nudging each other and like trying to subtly like point at the two of you.
Show off for us, you peons.
No, I think.
Damn.
I think basically, I think what they're saying is one of them is nudging their mate and going,
Morpheus is fighting Neo.
Yeah. It's just going. No, they're going like 5 copper on the dragon board. Oh mate, you know, shit like that.
It's more the like, look what is about to happen.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Here?
Like,
We
if
don't
you-
see them here
Yeah.
super often.
If you thought the fighting previously was interesting, oh boy.
Yeah. Look, one of them is going to be making bets.
Oh, surely.
Surely at least one person's going like, 5 gold on whoever. Maybe not gold, but you know.
5
Yeah,
gold.
That would be
you
damn.
don't pay them enough to wager 5 gold
That
on a
would be
battle.
crazy.
No, we don't. But yeah, some guy's going like, 2 copper on whoever.
Although that said, betting on Kelariis is a pretty safe bet most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I mean,
I'd
I don't
like
know.
to-
Arya could get me beat for. I think Arya's probably a good match.
Yeah.
yeah,
in
like
a
I feel like
straight up sword fight, I feel like Kelariis would just end my life. But
Wow.
But Arya's good. She's good. Arya's fast and good at dodging.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it also depends on if Lyra gets involved. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, like, armored, Kelariis probably takes it easily. But if they don't even like, even if it's like, if they have like just swords, like they don't even have they don't even have shields.
Yeah, if it's just swords, Arya wins because
Oh yeah, easily.
yeah.
Probably.
Well, because Arya will have a 16 armor class with no
Yeah,
no
but-
armor on.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
It's still
Oh, yeah,
like a
but it's
To be
speedy.
fair,
like
though,
a
I think I have
free
a
up.
14 now without
Oh,
any
yeah.
armor on because I took that one feat. I got tough hide now.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
I got scales.
But you're still
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd have
Yeah.
a 14, and I have more health, and I hit harder. So like I think it actually might be an even.
Yeah.
Like
it
an
would be
even
hard to
toe-to-toe.
decide.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you have like a plus 13 to hit or so?
Do I? Are you
Uh,
asking
pa-
if I do?
Part
Yeah,
of that is
because,
to
like-
do with magic weapon though. Having a magic
Yeah.
sword.
Oh, like you say, it's a regular
Yeah,
sword.
they've
but that
both got
would go
magic swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
if they
like,
didn't,
like,
if they were only using regular
Arya-
swords, Arya would have a
Arya was-
higher to hit,
yeah.
Arya would still technically have
just
higher
from a
chance.
higher stat bonus.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
I
the
mean, mine
thing,
would still
actually.
be
Arya's-
an
yeah, Arya's
11,
more
which is
likely to-
awful.
'Cause that's the
Well-
Then
thing,
there's
Arya-
smite.
Arya has a 12, so
I'm not
Arya's
gonna
1 point
smite
higher.
Arya.
Yeah, don't smite Arya.
Please don't smite me.
I would not. I would never.
But yeah, the
Traytharian
Even
would
if
take
she
a
was
very
possessed
dim
and
view
trying to
of
kill
that,
you.
I think.
Yeah,
even
probably.
if she was possessed and trying to kill you.
Well,
I wouldn't smite Arya. I think I would do a lot of other things before smiting my friend.
That's what hold person
God, who do
is
you
for.
think I am?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is what hold person is for.
That is a whole person's for. And no offense to Arya's, what is it, wisdom? I think.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
yeah, I mean, my wisdom is famously shit, so.
It's not great.
Me
Yeah.
too, buddy.
It's been over,
It's not
Yeah,
quite as bad as Grimm's, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Grimm's is worse.
Whoa.
God, yeah, Grimm's is pretty rough. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we could spar. Otherwise, if the trainees aren't like doing, like regulated? No, regimented. Is that the word I'm looking for? Drills.
yeah, they're doing like basic drills at the moment, but they're not like being directly instructed.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you
if any of them
It's the
want to
sort of
like
practice
spar,
at your own
You-
discretion.
you and Arya can put on a show for them, or you can line them up and make them do something. It's your choice.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean, I think
alternatively,
I
you
would.
could have a spar where you occasionally pause and say, "See that," and explain what just happened.
Oh, Cars isn't good at
You know,
that.
like a walkthrough duel.
There's also the option of just saying like, okay, let's see how many of you it takes to take me down.
I
That
was
would be
thinking about
fun.
that. I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, what if I just tell them to like come at me in groups and see what happens?
I think that would be really fun.
Get them to 4v2 you or something.
I think the problem there is, what if you just beat them all down on your own? And it's like, well, that's the biggest morale like destroyer that I've ever seen.
I mean, if it
This is giving me-
Kelariis isn't cruel, like if it seems like it's going very much in her favor, she'll like subtly ease up
Here's-
or go more
Like-
defensive, I should say. I
Oh,
guess.
this is
Oh,
just giving me Mountain Blade Warband vibes because one of the ways you can accelerate your training, your soldiers training in that.
Oh yeah,
Literally, go to a training arena and beat up 4 of them 1v4.
just 1v4 your soldiers, beat the absolute snot out of them, and they just gain experience from that for some reason.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, there's
Which is
value
even
to
funnier.
it.
I mean, they're learning.
Yeah,
even-
they're learning.
The funny part is though, if you're high enough in two-handed weapon skill, you can literally one-hit them, and they
Yeah.
apparently learn something from just being decked across the face and knocked unconscious instantly.
Rip.
See
It's
what
so funny.
they learn duck earlier.
Yeah, they learn.
Yeah.
block.
Well,
Hey, that's a skill.
If
That
if
is
you,
a skill.
if you use a polearm and line them up properly, you can do them all in one hit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or there's also, of course, the missions where you can do that exact same thing, but with a bunch of peasant villagers.
Yeah.
Just beat them up one at a time, and then they learn.
This
to be
is how you defend against bandits. Clonk.
Oh my god.
Just hit them
That's
really
literally
hard.
the quest. They're like, we need help
Um.
fighting off these bandits. So you train them to be like slightly better at fighting, and the way you do it is by 1v1ing them over and over again.
That's what Tallithsyr and Sidani did.
Although,
well.
admittedly, actually, if your training skill is higher, then you can fight more of them at once. And
Yeah.
it takes less time.
Fucking
But
rip.
shall we see what
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah. Well, it's up to you guys. Do you want to do something, or do you just want to like spar amongst yourselves? You can do either.
I mean, why can't we do both?
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll take turns. I'll fucking take on some of the recruits in like whatever V1 or
Yeah.
2 if Arya and I want to do it together. I'm down for whatever.
Oh man.
62.
Sure. You you call over the recruits and you organize them into teams and do some sparring practice.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I guess we'll try to be instructional about it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it a fair
Well,
fight,
you
you'll both
guys-
fight left-handed.
Yeah.
Turns out Arya's ambidextrous, and she's just as
Yep.
good.
Arya would be
Honestly, with a dex of
Yeah.
20, I feel like that should be.
Yeah, Arya is absolutely
Yeah.
ambidextrous.
Well, no, technically you need a feat for that.
Lame.
Yeah,
But to be fair, all it is you're just losing your proficiency bonus if you fight
Mm.
left-handed. You still get the maximum benefit of your dexterity.
yeah.
Oh well, fair
So you
enough.
still have a +6 to hit left-handed.
Yeah, which is more than they have.
12.
Oh, rip them. Rip
On
these
my
recruits.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just fight them left-handed. It'll
They're-
be fine.
Let me put it this way: in
They're
hand-to-hand
mercenary
combat-
recruits. They're like challenge rating 1/2.
Oh,
In hand-to-hand combat, they're more on par with Elizabeth.
That said, like after half a year, or like after like a year, there's still recruits. Cries.
Right.
Well, these are not the same ones you started with.
I would
That's
hope
also
not.
fair.
Yeah, I'd hope that those ones
Yeah.
are alive
Yeah.
and doing well.
In
Alive.
theory, they're the ones A, functioning as actual guards at the moment, or B, helping out the city guard of
Ivywood, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Probably that's what those guys are doing because they're proper mercenaries. So they're probably out doing
but,
actual jobs now.
Like I imagine, like even the rookies get jobs from time to time,
yes.
Well, yeah,
but it's fine.
Yeah, but we
Don't
do
worry
them on
about
but they're like an apprenticeship scheme. Sometimes they're doing work, but sometimes they're back home doing training. Whereas the actual mercs are just doing work.
Well, need to keep sharp.
Well, yeah, they do the occasional drills, but it's not like it's like every week the fucking recruits are doing a little bit of training and a little bit of
on
work,
the job experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get it. Don't worry.
But yeah.
Which
Uh,
means we don't have to pay them as much. Woohoo!
yeah, you
Wow.
spend some time doing that. Meanwhile, Grim, you catch up with Vondal. There is not much noteworthy that has happened in the few days that you have been gone. There is a small deal of news about the local area, none of which is particularly ominous or threatening or worthy of your particular intention. You also find Lars, who seems to be perfectly happy, like leading his unit in drills, which at the moment seems to be just them jogging around the perimeter again and again.
No.
Lars is enjoying himself. Everybody else, not so much.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sometimes you have to be able to run a marathon in
Yeah.
armor.
In
No.
armor, no less.
Oof.
I mean, just look at the Battle of Marathon. Those people ran like fucking several kilometers in full armor.
Yes. A marathon, I believe.
No, not a marathon. No, that was done by the messenger. Twice.
Yeah.
After already running like 5 times that distance.
Yeah. As you finish catching up with Lars and head back inside, you are approached by Kaziora, who sort of waves to you. Approaches, offers a short bow, and says, "Commander, I was hoping to catch and speak with you."
What so what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I took your advice and took advantage of your hospitality. I have spent a little time learning from you and your mercenaries. And I wanted to say that I appreciate you giving me that opportunity, at least.
Excellent.
It has been strange fitting in here, but seeing so many different kinds of faces has made me feel a little more comfortable about my existence.
Nice.
I was hoping that would help.
That's one way to put it.
Unfortunately, it is not all good news.
What
Well,
is the problem?
I suppose the point of good news is dependent on your perspective. But I have been looking into some things, mostly about the history of my people and this planet. Or this plane, she would refer to it as. I've done some research into the history of my people in this plane,
Yes.
and I believe I have found something interesting.
Oh.
Unfortunately, if I am to make any progress with it, I must take my leave.
Oh.
There is a city, supposedly, somewhere to the west that I must visit.
Does it have a name?
It did once. It is now a ruin.
Ah, that kind of city. Well,
I believe your people during the first stage engaged with some of my people there in a... I guess the closest thing I can call it is a parley? A negotiation, exchange of information on certain disciplines that my people have in exchange for information that was pertinent to a Rakma that was happening at the time. I think if I return there, I may be able to find clues as to how I may be able to get a message back to my people to tell them what happened.
Okay. Well, I guess the real question is, do you want assistance, or do you want to do this on your own?
She like seems almost like taken aback and says, I had not considered the idea that anybody would come with me. This was a mission that I thought I would be undertaking on my own. Though company would not be unwanted. The reason I'm bringing it to you as heavy news is that if I succeed here, there is a chance that I will never see you again. I suppose if I fail, there is also that chance as well, but...
Well, let's assume that that is not going to be the issue.
Yes. The chance is that if I succeed, I may no longer see you again. And before I departed, I wanted to just say that I am grateful to you and all of your company.
You know what? I think most of it, like I definitely know all the. Well, our bunch is was happy to have you, as little as we've been around. But,
Our alien BFF.
I'm sure you'll be missed. Although that said, do you have any idea of when you'd want to leave for this place?
She sort of shrugs and says, I had made preparations to depart earlier, but when I heard that you were gone, I decided to postpone it. Though having postponed it, I have since made considerations that I may need to plan for longer than just my original journey. I have no idea the availability of provisions or supplies when I arrive there.
See.
So I suppose the answer to that question is I could leave as soon as tomorrow, but given enough time, I think I would prefer to take a couple of days before I head out.
Well, staying is not going to take all the time you want. That's fine. The reason why I asked is I was considering if I don't know how you'd feel about a little goodbye from the, like a goodbye dinner or something, or meal, parting meal.
She suddenly looks very nervous.
Why?
She's thinking, oh no, a social event.
Yeah, she sort of looks a little nervous and sort of says, that is not usually something that... I appreciate the offer.
And don't worry about it too much. But I will ask you to to say goodbye to Elizabeth today, because there's a good chance that you won't see her later. I'm sure she'd like to know as well. That's all I ask.
Then I will do
And
so.
This this village or city that ruined to the west. Is it on the mainland still?
Let me just bring up the map so that I have my point of reference.
I don't think about it. There's basically only mainland.
Yeah, there are a couple of islands off towards the edge. But yeah, she nods and basically says, it is a ways up the coast, but yes, still on the mainland. There is a dwarvish settlement to the north, city called Mountain Shade. The place that I am seeking is supposedly in that region, though I anticipate from what I have read that it is probably closer to the ocean than to the mountains.
So, what I'm thinking is, I saw you. No, wait, I didn't see you sparring with Ordon. Never mind.
Well, she did tell you. She did tell you she'd been taking that advice, and
That is true.
Yeah, you were the one who told her to do it in the first place. So.
Yeah, I guess that is also true. So I believe that it might be if you're heading out, it might be nice to I was thinking of sending Lars and the bunch along. Currently just running in circles. Might as well run in an actual useful direction.
She smiles and nods and says, "Ah, yes, his love of endurance training."
Yeah, it might be a bit much, but it's. I'm sure they'll mention it if it's too much. I think we could send them along, and I think if you actually find this place and are successful, it will be learning experience for all, and the chance to, and I'll admit, I think the chance for them to experience something a little outerworldly or out of the ordinary might be a good thing.
Extraplanar would be the word.
Extraplanar, yeah. Something extraplanar might be nice as well. The only thing I would ask you is you don't expect they'd be taking along with you, would they? If you succeed in getting back.
She shakes her head vigorously and says, "No."
Good.
The transition will be neither unexpected nor immediate.
Okay. In that case, I believe I should be able to convince them to, do what I say, but I think they'd be happy to join you.
She nods and says, "I appreciate that."
I'll go tell them, and then you can coordinate with them for when you actually want to leave.
Yeah, she nods and thanks you. Her regular sort of formal demeanor is there, but she is she is clearly moved by the gesture.
Excitement. Oof. Admittedly, I can imagine someone getting excited that they might actually get home after after quite some hellish
Mm.
times.
And almost certainly a long period where she thought she'd never get home.
Yes.
Oh well. Well, I'll go. I'll go tell them now, and then
And I will go and
yeah.
locate Elizabeth.
Oh yes, good. Oh, and we'll like the rest of us will still be around, so do give us a shout before you leave.
That I will. She bows to you, and you head in separate directions. Elizabeth, you find. Oops, excuse me. You find Gorgo easily enough. She is currently leaning on the side of the wall, out of eyesight, avoiding doing circuit training.
Wow.
Smart move.
Yeah, you sort of catch up to her. She's like catching her breath, like leaning up against the wall.
Working hard.
You have no idea. Like, I'm not out of shape, but this is ridiculous.
Lars pushing you a bit hard.
You could say. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, mostly my work up in Argen'tel'lyrind. I had to grab the others for sabotage investigations. Someone's trying to stop what we're doing. We stopped them though.
She sort of like leads up quizzically as you sort of say that, just like, huh. I'm guessing it's high level stuff.
High level magic, yes. I don't know how interested you'd be.
I mean, I'm happy you're making progress, but just don't try and explain it.
I'm not going to, don't worry. Although, just double checking out of character, we've like basically sent off letters and stuff, being like, "Hey, we're gonna maybe have this party."
Oh yes, yeah, you did
Oh,
that. Yeah, you did that
yeah,
before
we've
you
done
left.
Yeah. In that case, she's gonna sort of say, so you know that that sort of that feast we were thinking of holding,
Yeah,
where I've invited everyone and stuff.
yeah.
Is there anyone else that you might want to invite that maybe I would have missed? Because I only really invited family, and I don't know if you met anyone else in your travels while I was still growing up at home that maybe you'd want to invite. I'm sure the others wouldn't mind.
Well, like ex-colleagues? Not really.
I guess, yeah, Elizabeth just shrugs. I was like, I don't know. I just thought I'd ask. The reason I came over to talk though is because of the sabotage thing that took place. We're obviously worried about security and keeping things safe up there. So Grim has decided it's probably best if I stay up there on a more permanent basis. So while before we left I was occasionally coming back, I don't know if I will be in the future. So you might not see me for a while.
How long's a while?
I don't know. It's. If you ask Grim, he's optimistic that it's only going to take a few more weeks, but I can't say for sure. It's just going to be until this is done.
She puts a hand on your shoulder, pulls like a mock huge sad face, and just says, "I don't know how we'll manage the time apart."
Okay, let's just gonna fucking punch her on the arm and say, "Oh, come on, you don't have to get fake sappy with me."
She punches you back.
Ow.
But she says, "When you said a long time, I was thinking like a long time, like when I went away and you were still at home, sort of long time. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it."
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough, I suppose. Like, I don't know. I suppose with the times that I have, a month feels like a long time, you know?
She sort of nods and says, yeah, sometimes time flies by, other times it seems to barely
Yeah.
crawl past.
Like, when I first joined the Eagle, things just seemed to fly, and then ever since I've actually been going out...
Fly.
Oof. Why is that funny?
Eagle, fly.
Oh. I did that by accident.
Right, well, I should really get going before they notice that I'm missing, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Chin up, kid. Stay safe.
You too.
Yeah, she pats you on the shoulder and then starts off on her jog again.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you wander back towards the center of the keep.
It's time to look for Sedan
Um,
probably.
Yeah, halfway through, you are interrupted by Kaziara, who wanders across, sees you, steps up to you and says, "Elizabeth,
Oh. Hey. How have you been?
I'm well. How have you been?"
Pretty stressed, I guess, but everything's worked out, so can't complain.
Quagrim tells me you are returning to work soon.
Yes, I'm only really sticking around to let some friends know that I won't be around. I've already told my sister.
I am on a similar mission.
Oh. Have you found a way to get home then?
Possibly. There are ruins of an old city somewhere to the west of Mountain Shade, between the mountains and the coast. I believe there may have been an exchange between your First Age civilizations and my people a long time ago. I'm hoping that there are still remnants of the materials they used to communicate there. It is possible that may facilitate my way home. If I succeed, I may never see you again.
Yeah, Elizabeth, like, probably very clearly not sure whether to be incredibly happy or incredibly sad.
Yeah. Kezura sort of like nods and says, I'm not good with goodbyes. Especially as this may not be one. But something struck me when Quagrim told me that you would be leaving.
Hmm.
If I do not return, I have a request.
What would that be?
The compass that you took.
Yes.
I suppose, use it cautiously.
You have my word.
She like pauses for a moment and sort of says, I think and forgive me if this is out of place, but you remind me a lot of someone that I knew back home.
In a good way, I hope?
Sort of.
Oh.
The memories I have of them I do cherish. They were important. But I suppose the short version of this story is that they were not cautious with their work. And it ended up costing them more than they ever could have believed. And I don't just mean that in a physical cost.
I see.
That compass is clearly a remnant of something that is long extinguished, whether that is part of your culture or, as I suspect, may possibly be part of mine. It has the potential to provide very powerful information, and I just want you to be careful with what you do with that information.
I have been told this by a few others as well, so you have my word that I will be as cautious as possible. And I will make sure to keep it close and safe.
She places like a hand on your arm, smiles sort of awkwardly, and just sort of says, "It is incredibly discomforting for me to have an emotive conversation with you and not be able to read you. But I trust you."
Oh, what I'm think. Oh, you mean what I'm thinking? Because
She nods.
Elizabeth would probably think for a moment. At which point she probably makes the ring visible, takes it off, and basically repeats what she said.
Okay. There is like a faint smile from Kaziara that is like it's a smile, but it's a sad smile. And she just says, "Well, it seems today is a day of surprises."
Indeed.
Good luck, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I guess Elizabeth puts the ring on, and then she probably moves to like go for a hug, and then stops, like doesn't know if it's okay, and just settles for going like, yeah. Best of luck to you too. I hope you get home safe.
Yeah. She bows to you and says, "I hope so too. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have preparations to make."
Yes. Please don't let me keep you.
Okay. Yeah, and last but not least, you make your way to Sidani. Sidani is mid-drill when you find her, so you hang around for a few moments until she breaks away, and sees you, wanders, steps over, and says,
Also,
"Elizabeth."
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Remind me who's our mutual friend? I forget her name.
Oh,
She's just chess lady.
yes. Kari. Karina Sternan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she walks up and says, "Elizabeth, you
Hey.
look like there's something on your mind."
That's probably because there is. So yeah, after the events of us being up in Argen'tel'lyrind, I might not be coming back for a while.
Oh,
Grimm's determined it's safest for our work there that I remain with the project
how
as much as
long?
possible. Grimm is optimistic and reckons that with my power I can get all this sorted in a matter of weeks, but I'm less confident. Might be a month, maybe 2.
She nods.
I just wanted to let you know, and also wanted to ask you to let Kari know next time you see her.
There's a faint flicker of a smile on Sidani's lips, and she says, "I can tell her."
Why did you say it like that?
Nothing. I just didn't know you guys were making plans.
It's not that we've made plans. It's that. Well, yeah, we're not like making plans. I've just been, popping down every now and then. I don't want to get worried if I suddenly don't show up for a while.
Sidani just like holds up her hands and smiles and just says, "Okay, I'm not gonna judge. I'll tell her."
It's just gonna give her like a sort of like judgmental look of like,
Good to see Sidani's a true shipper.
What are you up to?
Nothing. What are you up to?
Okay, answer me this. Was that evening really an accidental double booking? That first time you introduced us?
Would you be mad if I said no?
No?
Then no.
Was
Look.
it just...
Yeah, she just holds up her hands and says, "Look, I'll be completely honest with you. You two remind me of each other. And I was sitting there one evening when I just had the thought of, why not introduce you? I was pretty sure you'd get on, and it seems like my estimation was on point."
I mean, yeah, why would I be mad? You're just, trying to help us make friends, and that's understandable.
She
I guess I was just
smiles.
a little surprised. I guess I was just a little caught off guard.
Yeah, she smiles at that, nods. Says, "In the interests of remaining honest, Elizabeth, you need some friends that aren't here. Like,
I mean, in the company?
yeah. This is a great place to work, don't get me wrong, and the people who work here are great, but none of them are really your social type. You need people who'll encourage you. And not in a professional sense. I mean, like, people will help you through the day-to-day problems. I can't always be that person, as much as I'd like to, as your friend. So I thought I'd help you find some others."
I think Elizabeth's gonna be very gonna spend a while thinking. This time she is gonna go for the hug and just says, "Thank you, I appreciate it."
Sidani accepts, pats you on the back and says, "That's okay, it's what friends do."
Yeah. But I can see a point. But yes, stay safe.
You too.
And, well, who knows? Maybe Grim will be right and I'll be back in a few weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it.
No, I wouldn't either.
So yeah, with that, you leave Sidani to her work, and start thinking about yours.
Mm.
And I think with that, that is a good enough place to leave it.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, with one mystery resolved and perhaps a few more to uncover,
Standard.
that is that is where we will draw Second Age to a close for a week. And all that remains is to say thank you all for playing, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.